Okay, I got cut off again. I don't know why. But I was saying that she's not a candidate for microblading. You need to do this as a machine job. So the first thing that you need to do, and I'm going to address the procerus separately in here. And I think my design is off, but just pretend that it isn't. Is you're going to need to correct these orange or red, whatever they are, orange, red, apricot brows. And you do that with olive. And I don't know what pigment line you have, but if you have Beauty Angels, you will use 2 drops of the yellow and 1 drop of the onyx black, and mix that up. That equals olive. If you have the Phi SUP, those yellow molecules are really strong, but that's fine actually in this case. So you would use 2 drops of the yellow and 1 of the Arabian. And then if you have the SUPE, you will use 2 drops of yellow to 1 drop of black. And that's the formula for getting olive. Now, if you're using a pigment line that already has olive as an available option, like Lee, I don't like their colors though, but or Permablend, then use that. Permablend has an olive. Okay, so then what you're going to do is I would use like first you'll numb the area and review my instructions on scratching to pre-numb. And this is going to have to be a machine brow, like a powder brow or something. So I think I demonstrate in one of the videos how to do a machine outline. So it's called like a blood outline or a blood line, but I do it with pigment. So you get everything measured and set and perfect like you want it, and then you go in with like a 1p, a 0.18 1p if you're using the Simplicity Master, and you, as I demonstrate in one of the videos, you have to apply makeup to show the very precise line that you're going to need. And again, this is in one of the videos, and then you'll just be sitting there with your on speed 1. And you're going to be going like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's no anesthetic needed. The speed is slow. The needle is very thin, and you're dipping into the pigment. And you're not. Your needle should not be extended very far, whichever way you're doing it. But that's one way to get, because you're going to be doing. You've got to maintain this outline, and dots, the medical marker dots aren't precise enough for the work. But you can also try it. You can always try it with the skinny end of the marker. Anyway, once you have that outline there in a kind of a permanent way, now get to work on doing the color correction. So to color correct this orange or pink or red or apricot, you will be using the olive. And I would use like a 3R for that. I don't care what gauge. If you want to use a 0.18, that's fine. A 0.25, it doesn't matter. I usually color correct on about speed 4. And because you often have to use multiple passes. So you don't want to overwork the skin. And that's the other reason that I use a larger needle, the 3 instead of the 1, so that I'm doing very fast movements like this. And the machine is just barely touching. So remember, a tattoo machine is like a sewing machine. The needle's going in and out. You don't need to be pressing. So you're just moving, and you're just moving very fast. And this is how fast I would be moving. I mean, it is just fast. You shouldn't even be able to, if I were to do a video, you'd be able to see what I'm doing. You probably can't see it now, although I'm using the stylus to my phone. Anyway, you're going over that with the green, and you're wiping, and you're looking, and then you're going back, and you're wiping, because the goal is to get it to a neutral color, brown, basically, or as close to that as possible. Now, it's faded enough already that you don't need to do much color correction because you're going to be going over it with another brown. But you want to get rid of the warmth. She's, well, actually, she's cool in tone by looking at her. So, but the point is that you're going to have two different colors going on. You're going to have one color here and one color here, and they won't cover uniformly with whatever brown pigment you choose. So go over it with the green and the 3R on like a 4, several passes until it's a little bit more neutralized, and the same over here. Now you're ready to start doing your powder brow. And, for her, and again, I don't know what pigment line you're using, but you're going to want to stay with a kind of a warmish color because, again, she is cool. So warm but light. So like if you're with the Beauty Angels line, you would not want to use a blonde because the blonde is ashy. You could use maybe the Latina light if you have that, or you can take the light brown and add a little bit of the orange to that. So then, and you'll be doing a powder brow. This assumes that you know how to do a powder brow. Now, the other thing that I do when I'm working with a strong procerus muscle situation, I know from experience and from really studying this, that just as you see here with these horizontal wrinkle lines, that this is going to turn out concave no matter what you do, and you guys will really notice this with microblading. I'm over-exaggerating the result. It's going to dip like that because these procerus muscles are so strong. So the client comes back for touch-up, and you're like, what the hell happened? So what I usually do if I'm doing like powder brow or I'm doing shading over microblading is I get to this area and I kind of I preemptively go make it a little bit convex, knowing that it's going to be collapsing. Let me do that with the pencil on the other brow so you can see better what I'm doing. And right now I'm trying to close this pen. All right, so I would get to this part, and I would be trying to add a little bit. Can you see that? I'll come in. A little bit of roundness. It's as though I'm trying to, no, I wish I hadn't closed that pen. It's as though I'm imagining that there's this little bit of a concave border up here that I'm trying to show with the dotted lines. Convex, sorry, did I say concave? Because I know that those procerus muscles are going to be pushing that sucker down. So I always go outside of it. And I use round movements here with my machine when I'm doing this for the soft powder brow look. Or if I'm doing a blade and shade, I'm doing round loopies here. Because there's really, you can't be, like here, you'll be doing a fast back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But up here, where you want it soft, you'll be doing really quick round movements. If you guys haven't taken courses in these things, you should not be attempting them. Just listening to me tell you about it isn't appropriate, in my opinion. I haven't even given you instruction about what these muscles are and the whole shape of the forehead. This is called facial morphology. You need to understand it. You need to be able to look at a person, and I can just look at her and tell she's cool. You need to learn how to do that, to tell tone. You can't look at a person and know their Fitzpatrick level, so forget that. But she's likely to be about a 2 or a 3. but I don't know because I can't interview her. And that's actually kind of irrelevant for the subject at hand. So this is a challenging case. When you're doing microblading models, you're going to get people like this because they can't afford what they really need. And in my opinion, you should turn